What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. It's the first stream in the month of July, and you know what that means? It's Patreon Picks time. Patreon Picks this month will be about NBEMS, N-B-E-M-S messaging. It's slightly different than what you're expecting, and it's great for moving files and forms around in an emergency preparedness type sense. So for those of you Aries, Racies, your local CERT team, or those thinking of doing something along those lines, may find this interesting. I posted a link in the description. If you want to get started getting this set up, go ahead. It relies entirely off of FLDigi. There are variations to that, of course, but that is what we'll be doing today is FLDigi. By the way, FLDigi is a great ham radio multi-tool for data mode, so if you haven't already, you should probably get that running and set up. All right. Enjoy the memes. We'll kick this thing off shortly. Oh, also the giveaway. Who wants to do a giveaway? That's right. CountyCom has got a bunch of swag, including their shortwave radio that will be given away. You have, if you have not entered by this point, you're not going to be able to get in. I apologize. The entries have been closed. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Welcome again to the Ham Radio Crash Course. I appreciate you taking your time out of your weekend to watch me here jabber about amateur radio, and that's what we're all about, is trying to get you on the air as easily as possible, and also sometimes show you a little bit slightly different esoteric things in the hobby, maybe new things to you, fun things you may have not ever thought about doing. Hey, that's what this is all about. Also, we have kind of a couple of things going on simultaneously right now. The Ham Radio Dude is live streaming, so I'll go ahead and there he is. We can't hear his audio. In fact, I can just bump his audio up here.
Something different here this time, too.
So
I'll turn that down.
This is kind of special, Ham Radio Dude, if you're so inclined. You may even want to, you want to do like 3 things actually right now is watch me, watch him, and then also be on 14.338 megahertz because Carlos, KD9OLN, is doing Parachute Mobile on 20 meters right now. At least that's the attempt. So if you're so inclined, I don't want you to miss out a chance in getting a contact with Carlos. So keep that in mind. Anyway. FYI on that one. You probably can't just listen to 14.338 as we're going through this, and you'll probably be good to go. So yeah, we're going to be talking about FLDigi. FLDigi was basically the software that everybody used, or most people used, for their amateur radio stuff. Back when or before WSJTX hit the scene. It was where everybody went to do PSK31 among the various other modes. It was kind of like the app. It's still updated. It's still in use. Lots of people use it. Really, really cool. So, yeah. Good stuff. So go ahead and download that, and let's go through some of my links here. Get things kicked off. Big thank you to everybody who supports the channel by buying some swag off of hamtactical.com, the website my wife runs that has all of our funny little shirts, including this active tee, this synthetic shirt that's going to be going up here soon. So keep an eye on the website, but plenty of other things as well if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. And hey, I appreciate it. Shout out to Palomar Engineers. For the longest time, Palomar Engineers has done a 10% off coupon code. Not affiliated with me. It's not an affiliate code. Just if you use HRCC73, you get 10% off. But this weekend, if you use the word Patriot or Patriots with an S at the end, you'll get 15% off. And it's kind of great stuff. If you want an NFED antenna, if you need to get ferrites, toroids, whatever, Palomar Engineer has got your back, so make sure you check that out. I really do support those guys. All right, GP-7 is the single sideband radio we're going to be giving away. There's 3 giveaways today. Just want an FYI on that one. And everyone who I've added to the giveaway pool a little bit, everyone who wins something today also gets an ICOM swag pack. So big thank you to ICOM. I literally have boxes and boxes of swag bags sitting in my living room. So I'm going to put something together, something fun, to do a giveaway for all those ICOM swag backpacks. So right on. Okay, yeah, this is the County Com site. We're also going to be giving away some silicone sleeves, some cases, a flashlight, a pen, all that other stuff towards the end of the show here. In fact, when I wrap up, I'll just pull the numbers for it. So stay tuned. You don't have to be here to win, but hey, I appreciate you hanging out. All right, so what we're talking about today is FLDigi. There's a link in the description to a W1HKJ website, and we are going to need to download 4 things. So make with the busy making of the downloading and the installing. If you don't already have it, you are going to want to download FLRig, okay? Hey, why is it not working now? Ha! It doesn't work? What's going on? How's that? Did that get it? No, it didn't. Anyway, we'll just zoom in a little bit. So FLRig, I literally get things working right before the show, and then they stop. That's just the way it is. FLRig is what we're going to need. We're also going to need FLMessage, FLAmp, and FLwrap. Now, what is this? Well, let me go over to the iPad here and see if I can give you a bit of background on some of this stuff. So, once upon a time, you had FLRig, right? And it supported a multitude of modes, like PSK, Olivia, among others. And there are reasons why one might want to use PSK31 or Olivia or MS63, I believe is another popular one. Some of them have forward error correcting. PSK31 is generally just kind of a rag chew chat keyboard back and forth. You can literally just keyboard chat with people, kind of like what you do on FT8. But what what was desired was having a way to actually send messages in a open source, non-restrictive mode capability. So with FLMessage, what we're attempting to do is basically take your written text and any mode of configuration or any mode of operation that you're in, basically take that PSK31, Olivia, MS63, and use that to transmit the message. Send the data for whatever you've typed in, either blank text or a pre-canned message, and create a data packet out of it, if you will. Data packet's probably the wrong word. Don't at me. Hey, Ham Radio 2.0 gifted 5 Ham Radio Crash Course memberships. I've never even seen that before. Hey, look at that. That's pretty cool. Hey, I thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I don't even know what that means. So, hey, I'll have to figure out how to do that in a second if it's already something. Oh, it was already gifted. So there you go. Hey, that's super cool. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. That's awesome. You can see Manny Barrera got it, and Marty KM6PRA. I was just talking to Marty this afternoon at the HRO in Anaheim. Hey, that's pretty cool. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. And Tin Can Telephone. All right. Hey, right on. Okay, so FLMessage, you have your message, and it's going to be wrapped up and sent out via this particular digital mode. Well, what this also does with FLWrap is wrap it with forward error correcting. Forward error correcting, which is nice if you want a assured message to get out between you and the intended party. So pretty cool. It's the power of this is most seen if you have a vital message that you need to get out, or you want verification that it was received on the other end. Obviously, this has MCOM purposes, but there's a multitude of areas as well that you may want to use this. The other advantage with this type of way of transmitting data is you can actually send files as well. So that's what we're going to be playing around with. We're going to send a text message. We're going to send an standard canned message, that you would use if you're in an MCOM situation. And I'm going to show you how to walk through that a bit here. So let's go back to the desktop for those of you that are following along at home. And yes, that's my radio in the lower corner. Oh, wait. I'm literally listening on 14.338. That's the frequency that that Carlos is on. Hey, did anybody hear Carlos out there, by the way? I don't know if dude's still live, but yeah, I've always. So once again, thanks to Ham Radio 2.0, I'm always surprised if people are following me and not following him, because it's kind of like there's similar content, guys. Not the same content, not at all, but you know, it's good ham radio stuff. So go check him out, I guess. All right, here we go. So have you found a way to do FLDigi for iPads? I have not. Not something that has really been that interesting to me, because generally the times where I'm going to be running FLDigi, I'm probably going to be on. Oh, heck, why is it on LSB? Why did it do that? Oh, I think it's because of FLDigi, to be honest. There we go. Oh, I heard somebody. Well, if you've got FLDigi, go ahead and open it up. When you get FLDigi up and running for the first time, you're going to see something like this. Oh, they're literally making contacts right now. All right. Sorry, Carlos. I already got you in my log, so I won't be selfish. I'll be mindful of your time and not get distracted trying to make a contact with Carlos. I already do have a contact with him on 20 meters. But anyway, OGM, great question. Do you recommend getting the FCC license to expand the learning capabilities of a newbie? Absolutely. I feel like you can, of course, use free resources like Kiwi SDRs and web SDRs. Literally just access the internet and get to that website, and you can receive all kinds of things on the radios that people have placed on the internet that are freely accessible for people to use. That's a great way to learn, but you're not going to learn as much if you're not licensed. So I highly recommend you get licensed. So yes, I do. Please do. Anyway, so FLAmp pops up here. 6NAZ. I guess I didn't add that the first time. We'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so FLDigi is a kind of, again, Swiss Army knife application for amateur radio. Did I get... No, that's not working yet. And what you do with this is you get it running for the first time. It's going to ask you things like your call sign, your your QST location, not your QST. What am I thinking? QTH. QTH means home location. You can go ahead and add that if you want to. Keep it just, one name, so you don't need to say your first name and last name. All that stuff. I'll walk you through a little bit of it first. Because what's going to happen, it's going to be a little bit different than when you see it the first time. The wizard that comes up the first time you open it is going to look vastly different from this this window that I have right here. Oh, thanks. Thanks so much. Wow, that was great. I'm really glad I shook that. Great. That's a feature that Windows definitely does not need. Thanks, Windows. As always, appreciate you, bud. Thanks so much. Okay, so back on the configuration screen for PSK31. Under operator station, under miscellaneous, you can add your information. I generally do put my call sign. I put a 4-digit locator and California, blah, blah, blah. The thing that's probably the most important to get things going is having rig control. And it's the part where people get the most screwed up when it comes to setting it up for the first time. By the way, what I'm going to show you right now goes well beyond this video, and it goes into actually how you set FLDigi up to run on your computer to your radio. I generally use hamlib as the option, and I have hamlib selected here. I have my 7610 selected as the rig of choice, and the device connection, or the port for the USB connection to my radio is COM8. If you're curious what that is, bring up Device Manager. Literally click the Windows key and just type in Device Manager. And if you go to ports, COM and LPT, you should see something that's like Silicon Labs if you're an ICOM person, something along the lines of radio type something, whatever radio you've plugged in. A fast way to figure out which radio it is have this opened up, this port section, and unplug your radio. One of those things, or two, is going to disappear. Then plug it back in. That's the one you select. That's my cheater way of doing it. Select that down here. Baud rate for my 7610 is 115,200, and these different stop bits and polling intervals are all something you can generally Google for your radio. The 7300 is likely going to match much of what I have here. PTT, hamlib is what I do for hamlib command, and the audio is on the auxiliary port. Now, as far as sound card, that's the next thing you got to go to. So go to settings. Which one is it? There it is. Under devices. And you want to set the sound card dongle, whatever it is. If it's a physical connection or if it's provided via the USB cable on your radio, which mine is on the 7610. In this case, for ICOM radios, it's going to be microphone and speaker. And then it's going to say USB audio codec on both sides. Okay, then you hit save. What'll likely happen is this little green arrow will go, well, this little diamond down here in the bottom will go green. And that's how you know you've got a good connection. So once that's done, you're kind of ready to go. Now, hopefully, at this point, you will have installed FLMessage and FLwrap and FLAmp. If you've done that, there's a couple more things, particularly if you want to do NBEMS or NBMS messaging. Go back to the config window. Go back to miscellaneous. And there should be a NBEMS or NBEMS messaging selection. And you want to point FLDigi to the location for your FLMessage screen. This is going to be pretty important for the application to actually know where it is, to be able to run it so that you have the capability to send out messages. There's a question. Do you recommend an order for all the apps? FLDigi, FLRig, FLMSG, FLAmp, and FLwrap. No. No order except when you start up the apps, FLDigi must be the first app. Everything else kind of gets handled with FLDigi up and running. So you need to have FLDigi up first before you can do anything. So under miscellaneous, make sure you click the NBEMS interface and provide that location. And then hit save. And I think there's one more thing we got to do. Rig control. Maybe not. There was... by the way, FLDigi's been around for a really long time, and so it's changed. This screen here, this configuration, is different from the original configuration screen that I ham radio grew up using, if you will. So it's changed a little bit over time. And I think there is one more thing to point out. Just want to make sure I get you guys. Auto start, that's it. Yeah, okay, so miscellaneous auto start. I also point out where FLAmp is for the FLDigi software to know, and I check the box to say enable. And what that'll do is it'll open FLAmp when I start it for the first time, or whenever I start FLDigi, which is nice to have there. Okay, so that's pretty much all you have to do. I know that I've incredibly simplified what it sounds like to actually make this work, and FLDigi can be a little futzy, so just take your time with it, and once you get it to the point where, let me get this out of the way. See this little button down here? It says T-R. That's basically your PTT button. If I click it, we should see my ham radio key there. Once you have that capability and you've got some activity on a waterfall, which you can see right here, this is literally the waterfall, you're probably good to go. So I am obviously sitting on Carlos's jump frequency. We're gonna move down in here in a little bit because I'm not gonna try and blast out an NBEMS message on top of him. I'm gonna go to where did I put it? Boop, burp, 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 burp. Where did I put the view? Did I lose it? Oh, no, I'm being overly ridiculous. Let's open FLMessage at this point. Okay. I don't have it auto open. So bring up FLMessage next. That's going to be the next one you do. Now, I have an ICS 213 report. If you have watched Ham Nation before and you've heard Amanda talk about ICS 213s, it's probably the most prominent. I meant MT63. I was calling it another mode, that guy right there. It's probably the most prominent message you'll see. It's kind of like a status message, notification of something going on, an update of information, etc., etc. If you want to know more on that, I highly recommend you go take the ARRL classes and also the incidents commander classes, or the incidents response, or understanding the incidents commander hierarchy that the DHS offers that you can go take online. They're totally free. They take a little while. If you are Aries or Races, you will probably be required at some point to, if you want to be active in certain activities, to have those classes under your belt. So that's just a side note. I have a a video I did with Evan, who's one of our administrators, on getting started in emergency communications like Races and Aries, and that provides way more information. So if you want to go watch that, I suggest you do. I'm forgetting a lot because, frankly, this is just the how-to on getting the application set up. So if you go under form is where all of your form types are going to be, and it can be just as simple as a blank form, and you can say, hello there. This is KI6NAZ. Oops. Like so. And you say, hey, I want to use MT63500L. And I can hit auto send and it'll take off. That's generally how you use this. But first, I'm going to show you a little bit of the setup. You're going to see the first time you run FLMessage, you'll be greeted with another bunch to fill out. And you generally will re-enter a lot of the personal information you probably already did for FLDigi. It's okay. Just go ahead and redo that. Things like personal data. Again, I don't really provide all the details because, then everybody would have it. I leave the date and month and day alone, the year, month, and day alone, and I go with a hour with a colon and then the minute. As far as files, I leave all of this the same default, except for wrap. I say open folder when exporting. Radiogram, don't touch it. I don't touch it anyway. And I leave the FLDigi ARQ alone. And user interface, you want to say expert. So when you see the pop-up for the first time when you're running FLMessage, you want to make sure that you have expert selected. You don't want simple. Simple is not going to get you what you want. In fact, it's not something hams want to use, or those that are going to be using this with Races, Aries, or whatever your MCOM group is. That's more for just simple operations, or people who aren't really the comms people, if you will. Okay. Continuing right along. If you get into the simple mode, again, you just go to utilities or settings and change the UI to expert, and then it'll bring you back in. So I'm going to get off this frequency. Let's see. Just make sure we don't hear Carlos. Nope. I'm going to put this back into data mode. And I'm going to go way down here, back into the digital portion. We're going to go above. Kind of want, I'm looking at my waterfall, and you're seeing my waterfall on the screen, so I'm trying not to. Nope, camera's not out of focus. Refresh your browser. All right, so I'm on 14.094 if anybody wants to tune their radios over to that direction. Harry Bolognese? Nope, has not happened yet. Hang tight, it'll be at the end. Hey, John Folliard says, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. One of my favorite numbers. Those that know. I sat for a Father's Day VE session and passed 2-3, thanks in large part to this channel. I am KC1RME and look forward to working you in the future. Hey, buddy. Congratulations. Thank you so much. And thank you, A.L. Zwicky, for being a new member out there, supporting the channel. Appreciate it. Jason Fedlem. This is a plastic cat cup. And if you don't know what cat cups are, you probably don't listen to the podcast. But yep, that's exactly what it is. It's a plastic solo cup with a handle. Yeah, good job, John. Okay, so hopefully people are out there. So I just made a blank form. That's all I did, right? And I'm going to, again, I want it to be MT63500L. And soon we'll hear that elusive mating call of the great live stream radio tune-up migration. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a little beans here on the volume. And I'm gonna hit note. Hey, here's an important note. The type that I'm using is MT63. That's the data mode type, right? Like you could say PSK31 is a data type. WSJTX is an app. FT8 is a type of data transmission. I'm going to use MT63500L. It is a reliable forward error correcting mode to use for this. And I am going to say, hello there. Please send beer. Supplies are running dangerously low. Now, if you've noticed, the duration as I've typed more, the bytes have gone up, which causes the duration of the message in transmit to take longer, right? So that's 1 minute, 16 seconds is kind of long, right? Don't you think? Well, it's kind of how this goes in some cases, particularly if you have an error correcting mode. That's kind of how it goes. So let's click auto send right up the top here, and we should see some stuff happen. So it's going to pop up and say, hey, you're about to blast this off. Do you want to do that? Yes, I do. It's got a little record of what I'm saving down here in the bottom. I want to do that for, again, if it's an emergency situation, I want to keep track of everything I send and receive. So I have a record for both sides. So now we are transmitting, and you can see down here in the waterfall, that was just the preamble. Bop. Oh, we may have to redo this one. I think we're going to have to redo this. I'll show you why. I'm going to let it go, though. I'll explain what happened. Don't worry. Indeed. I'm not talking for a reason, and you may be able to see it there. I'll explain. Okay, so I screwed up. That was my on my radio side. Everything I did on the programmatic side was fine, but right now my radio also picks up my mic over USB. So for those of you on 7300 or 7610 ICOMs or anything like that, you hit menu if you have this problem. A lot of people have this problem in FT8. That's why you hear all that background chatter. And you go to settings, connectors, mod input. See how it says mic in USB? Just make that USB. That's all you need to do. Like that. Boop. And that should do it. So now you won't be squawking background audio, your literal mic when you're trying to send a message. So thank you, Kenny Ray. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Okay, so that's the blank message. We have another mode here. So then you've got FLAmp. Now, I mention this because some of you will use this, some of you won't necessarily. it's not always required, but it's helpful because it adds a checksum, and a checksum is kind of like, turn this down a bit. A checksum is like well, if you watched Ham Nation last episode, Amanda mentioned a check. The check is the total size for the message that you sent. A checksum is like a computer version of that. It is a short little blip that said, hey, I'm about to send you this much data, and it's in the form of a checksum. And if at the end, when you get all that data and you perform a checksum calculation on the data you received, if that checksum that you calculate, you meaning your computer calculates, does not match the checksum that the transmitting station sent to you, it's probably a bad message and you need to resend it. That's what a checksum is used for. So that's how that works. Now, so for this one, configure, when you pop up FLAmp, you're going to go to KI6NAZ, add your info, provide your own call sign. I really only do autosave subfolders, enable, so the enable header modem I don't do. I basically drive it with FLMessage, which is the app right there, to make it work. Let's look at some of these. Autosync, no, you can autosync to mode selector. FLDigi, yeah. So if FLMessage is driving FLDigi, I want FLAmp to pick up the FLDigi mode selection. That's generally what I do. So you can screenshot this if you want. Autosync FLAmp. Enable transmit on report. You could do that. Warn user when removing files from queue. Clear missing blocks. No, you can do some of that stuff, but you generally don't need it. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward. So, by the way, Evan has been on the show before, one of the great admins on the HRCC Discord. Thank you so much for what you do, Evan. And he's been on a show with me, actually, I think a couple of times now. But one of them was kind of explaining to people what MCOM in the Aries and Racy's ways of the world actually is. It's not necessarily intuitive, and sometimes people have different ideas about what they actually do and what they function as. So I highly recommend you go take a look at that video. And I'm pouring out a beer. I guess another beer, because we're halfway through. All right, so people may be asking, what beer am I drinking? A classic, a traditional Belching Beaver peanut butter milk stout. What a good beer for those that have not really gone down the rabbit hole of a stout. Belching Beaver makes some really good stuff. So Michael Shannon, yeah, I agree completely. FLDigi has a bit of a learning curve, but it is well worth it. Yeah, so again, it gives you, like, we always say this at work, it's like giving you enough rope to hang yourself with. FLDigi, it just provides so much stuff. There's so many things it can do. And I am focusing like a laser beam on a very specific aspect of this. I've done other videos on like running PSK31. I've done other videos on using this to decode Morse code. It will do all that stuff. So you can search my channel for FLDigi and you'll get a lot more in the way of what this does. Because this was my WSJTX. When I was first starting in ham radio, this was the cool app. This was the slick app that did all the things that everybody was using, and I made a ton of contacts on PSK31 because that was what we had. We didn't have WSJTX like you kids, you youngins do. All right, so Don N5SKT, just to catch everybody up for those following. By the way, Carlos is going to jump again in 30 minutes. So likely by the time I end this, or right about the time I end this, maybe I'll do something fancy and we can get Dude in here really quick and we can do a simul stream. That might be fun. Dude, if you see this, I don't know why you might be seeing this, but send me a Zoom link or I'll send you a Zoom link. Hi, Josh. Got Carlos from the UK. Wow, with 20 watts. Hey, fantastic, Mark Tuner. That's awesome. Okay, Ed, AC3IK Sweeney, probably a silly question. Would I need a signal length for my FT891? Great question. A little bit outside the scope of this video, specifically because I assume you have all these connections set up. I am making a huge assumption here. This is just showing you how to set up the applications. But if everybody's watching this, post facto, post live. I highly recommend that everybody remember that for digital communication in radio, you need two things. I believe you need two things. You really only need one, which is the audio in and out. And then you generally need a way to key the radio so that it transmits and takes that computer audio you're trying to transmit and send it out. One of the most common ways to do that is by using something called a signal link. The signal link works for the FT891. Yaesu also makes a product called the SCU-17. I have one of the SCU-17s for my 891. I generally really like it. The problem is the SCU-17 is, I think, $100 more expensive than a signal link. So if you want kind of a better way of doing audio into your 891, cheaper should be the right word, get the signal link. Also, you really don't need an audio interface. You can use just a USB sound card and the appropriate audio cables. It's generally a Y cable. You need to be able to take the one input output from the radio and Y it off. One goes to the microphone of your computer and the other goes to the speaker of your computer. I think I've done a video on that as well. Maybe I'll do a video in the future where we just talk about all the different options at your disposal to make that work. So anyway, let's go back. FLAmp allows you to do file transmissions, right? I think I overstated things a bit. It's not doing the checksum, although it does check for checksums. It's your file transmitter. And that's where you can go in and actually add a file here and send it out. I think if I go... It's so rare that I use this. I mainly just use the text function, or the FLMessage. I would like to send a meme, sir. How do I send a meme? Let's find my memes. Hold on. Let's go to Radio Memes Directory of Memes. This is the repository of holy memes for amateur radio. I'm going to go... We're going to sort by details, size. Nope, that's definitely the wrong way. That's what we want. Hank.png. That's it, buddy. All right, let's see if that works. Probably does. We'll see. Does it work? No, it does not. It's been a while since I used this app. Let's see. Can I drop Hank onto the holy Hank grenade of memes? That's not what I wanted. How about this? Can we go here? No, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and skip that. The holy Hank grenade. The holy hand grenades from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but anyway. All right. The files are not letting me add right now. It's not letting me add files. God, I swear. Now, I will tell you, sometimes FLDigi and its family tree of software sometimes does not want to cooperate with you. So just keep that in mind. No, that's not it. Oh well, we're gonna skip this part. Okay, it's live. It happened. I screwed something up. Let's go back to FLMessage. FLAmp, you can go hang out over here. You do your thing. You just chill, because I don't remember how to make the file upload a file. Okay, going back to FLMessage. So if you go back to forms, so this is where you get like a ton of different forms. You've got radiogram, like the ARRL radiogram. In fact, that's exactly what it is. If you think back to the video last week or 2 weeks ago, when Amanda talked about the radiogram, that's what they were talking about. So you fill that out, and you can literally blast that out into a frequency where there are people that are listening for that transmission on that particular data mode. So it's not just I opened up WSJTX and I clicked FT8 as my mode and I went on the FT8 frequency that it told me to go to, that the app took me to. I clicked 20 meters and boom, there you go. It took me over there. This was back when you were using FLDigi. This let you go wherever you wanted to transmit. You can still do that with WSJTX, but there's not like a recommended frequency for this stuff. It's based on the recommendations of your MCOM group or the group of people that you want to have listen to your transmissions. So just keep that in mind. I love everybody quoting Holy Grail. Was one of my favorite movies of all time as a kid growing up. Absolutely love it. So we're going to go back to ICS. We're going to send a 213. This is going to be to QSL from KI6 NAZ. This is just asking for people to, what is it? WB beer, please. Yeah. Are you still gonna send it? And we'll throw a date on this. And we'll throw a time. There you go. And I can then, with it, again, set up for MT63, which is all we want to do. Again, you can change modes if you want to, but MT63 is good. That's generally the one I recommend. Go ahead and hit auto send. Form modified, save? Yeah, sure, why not? And we'll go into NBEMS, and we're transmitting again. So there you go. And you're not hearing, see the waterfall now is very specific. You're not seeing the voice of me screwing with the waveform there in the background. See that? Huh? And FLDigi is showing it in the background, what it is sending and receiving as we go along. Hey, Daniel Kessler, thanks for joining us out here on the live stream. Says, hey guys, new here, had my license since 2006. It was 2007 was when I got mine. So congratulations for being out here. Thanks for doing it. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries. Now, is there anyone in the chat who has this up and running and wants to fire back a message at me? I would like to see it. Send me a, just say, I got a message or I want to try. I'm watching the chat. You kicked the bride in the chest. You put the father bride, you put his sword right through him. I did? I'm so sorry. Oh, are we receiving something? Maybe? Or was that after? Thought we just saw something. It popped. Now would be the time to fire off a message. Otherwise, oh, wait, yes! It's coming in! W6DMW. Blank form begins. So cool. 73. W6 DMW. You made it. There you go. And now we have a little new window that pops up. So thanks for doing that. You made the stream all the more better. We got a new window that pops up after you receive a message. And by the way, guys, this is kind of like if you think about the luxuries and the conveniences that we have in JSA Call, where does all that harken from? This is now the hipster digital data transmission mode that you can use this to send, forms or just blank messages, whatever, and it will sit in people's inboxes, just like you see here. And you can use whatever data mode you want. And remember, there's a lot of really good data modes that we don't use them that much anymore, but they're really, really good, and they are resilient with error correcting. So keep that in mind. So let's take a look at that message. There you go. So cool. So blank form, so cool, 73 from W6DM. So I want to say, let's see. We're going to send an ARQ. Nope. Now you can just append to this and keep it going, but it's not really needed. Sean AI7EQ. So no, there are standard frequencies for digital modes like PSK31, and you can use FLMessage to send messages over PSK31, but not in the same way like you have for JSA Call or WSJTX, FT8. Nothing like that. And that's what kind of makes this unique, is that you would use this with a local group or your local set of friends or whatever. It's not like how we use JSA Call and WSJTX, all the myriad of modes in there, where there are pre-defined frequencies. This is more like something you would pick up and use in specific instances. So. Okay. So I'll say... Oh. Nope. Stop it. And I will respond. All right. We're at the 10-minute mark, so we're going to give some stuff away. Yeah, that's a great comment there. Oh, Evan retracted it. Well, if he reposts it, I'll pull it up. So yeah, Evan is mentioning W8KJR is mentioning that this is an MCOM mode. This is a mode you'd use in an emergency situation or with a group of Aries, Races folks. If you want to send an ARRL radiogram, there are radiogram nets, and those nets will sometimes use things like FLMessage, and then you can go ahead and use whatever frequency they dictate for their nets. This is a very free-form way of sending data. It's not like the watering hole that is FT8, where it's just about rapid contacts, or JSA Call, where it's kind of like, who's out there? I just want to talk to everybody. This is a targeted approach to messaging. It's specifically for MCOM. So yeah, there's Evan's comment. I think of this more for MCOM. You can use templates, feature for Red Cross, FEMA, radiogram forms, etc. Radiograms being probably the most applicable to what most people can get started on immediately. You can send a radiogram to anyone via the ARRL radiogram system. You just have to make sure you're following their guidelines for whatever their radiogram net is. So there you go. I blasted that message off. So it looks like we had not really about the QSOs on this one, right? It's about practical sending of information, which is arguably what amateur radio is very, very good at, and takes it outside of what some people complain about with FT8, is that, oh, this is just a quick and dirty contact mode. True, totally is. You're totally right. This takes you to the point of being a practical mode of data communication. That's really what this is about. And it's an effective one, and it's one where there is a rabbit trail that you are keeping your transmitted files, you're keeping your received files, your received messages, and they're available to you on both sides of the contact. So fantastic. Well, that took us right to the 10-minute mark before we wrap up the show. Hey, ham radio dudes in the house. Hey, where are we at on the Carlos jump? The next one, is he about to jump again? I don't. Oh, anyway, we'll next one is going live in 30. Oh, okay. So we'll be off the air by then. So yeah, everybody go to Ham Radio Dude's channel, and if you're interested in trying to make a contact with Carlos, they may be on the same frequency, they may not be. Sometimes he changes frequencies. So all right. So what are we giving away? Well, if you watched my recent CountyCom video, they sent me a micro pen. They sent me this 18650 floodlight flashlight, which I already have one. A lot of the Meritac stuff I already own. So we're going to do a giveaway in two parts. We're going to give away the flashlight and pen, and then we're going to do the grand prize giveaway for the GP-7 radio. Thank you, CountyCom, for sending all this swag. But I feel like I just loaned this stuff because I've already bought. I'm just kidding, of course. And this is what the GP-7 looks like. Yes, you cannot have my bag or my patch. There's your GP-7. Not yours, but what it looks like. All right, so how are we doing this? Well, thank you to everybody who filled out the form. It makes things a lot easier than trying to corral a YouTube chat thing to make this work. So what I'm going to do, let's head on back to the Webby Web here. Make it real simple. Real simple. Random number generator. There were 1,064 people who signed up for the giveaway. So we're going to go ahead and generate a number. 23. Okay. And I've got a... Where's my doc? There's my doc. 23. Let's go up to here. So 23 is getting the micro pen and a ICOM swag pack, and it is Bill Mann, N1ASW. Pen and swag. All right, so the first winner is Bill. Very good, Bill. Let's add that to some text here. N1ASW, pen and swag. Pack. Swag pack. See how that looks. Wow, that is way too big. Also the wrong font color. So let's just go ahead and... Oh, what happened to there? There it is. So that's just not going to work, guys. Select font... Okay. Okay. Update. There we go. Why? Why didn't you make it fit the screen? Horrible. We'll get there, I promise. All right. Swag pack. You're in there, Bill. Congratulations, Bill. All right, who's next? Let's do the next one. Is Yesu Crash Course? Is the Yesu the super mega grand prize? So Russ, you're smelling what I've possibly been putting out there. I have let's see. I have just about every cool QRP radio, and recently I picked up a TX500, and I'm giving one of those away at the end of the summer. I've got a couple of videos to make with all of them, but I think there's one that I will not be keeping. Which one? I've got a 705 KX2, the TX500, and the 818, which you probably saw. So I will be giving one of those away. Maybe others too, because I've got. You won't be getting. Let me tell you, you won't be getting the mountain toppers. None of those are going anywhere. Most of the CW ones are not going anywhere. So just keep that in mind. All right, next number, generate. Okay, 30. 30. Cliff White, no call sign listed. Oh, Cliff, you snuck past. Oh, bomp bomp. Sorry, Cliff. You snuck past the duplicator. I see you have duplicate entries. Your entry has been deleted. I apologize. The duplicator has deleted your win there. Sorry, bud. All right, 179. Went to click on it and it went B-dupe. Duplicate entry found. Sorry, bud. I said no duplicates. No way. Okay, 179. This is rigged. Who's putting on this? James Hannibal, KH2SR. Man, James is in there. James does a lot for ham radio and has definitely sent me a ton of stuff, so I'm happy to look at and review. So I'm happy to throw something back his way. And you get the Flood Light and Swag Pack. Bam! Right on. Ted says the 818 goes. That's what Ted thinks. Ted thinks the 818 goes. I can embiggen. Let me go ahead and embiggen. Oh yeah, there we go. So you're saying the 705 might go. I think you probably know me better than that. I'm not gonna be giving that away. So you can go ahead and narrow that down. Oh, haha. Somebody listens to the podcast. That's right. I know Nick does. So he probably already knows what I'm going to give away. The 891? No, that's in my car. I'm not getting rid of that. All right, so grand prize. Where are we going with the grand prize? Who's going to win? Let's click that button. What is going on with this thing? Is this truly random? 172. If you have complaints on random number generators, blame Google. This is a Google thing. 172, it goes to Kevin Arburn, KS0BSQ. So you win the GP-7. And James, you won the Floodlight. Okay, so Kevin... Arburn is the GP-7 radio and accessories. So I will contact you if you want the... Where is it? If you want the glow-in-the-dark, you're going to get the aluminum no matter what. The aluminum is going in the pack. If you want the glow-in-the-dark or the orange, your pick. Glow-in-the-dark or the orange protective sleeve for the radio. Yeah, Jody, I normally use the random.org, but you you might have been following me long enough. I've done a lot of giveaways, and random is what I normally use. But let's see if this is 1063. So the giveaways are over. Now we're just looking at random number generators. So nobody panic, okay? Don't be trying to slide in there. The giveaways are done. Yeah, 533, right? And if we do it again, 449, 526, 429, 189, 1035, 485. Nothing's great here. I mean, your sample size would have to be just absolutely massive to determine if it was a good random number generator or not. Yeah, so there you go. Jason's got my back. The other Jason. There's too many Jasons. I use the Google random number generator a couple times a month, and it's always looked pretty random to me. Not like what happened here. Yeah, that didn't look random, but all right. All right, very good. So this has been the Patron Picks episode. I want to say a big thank you, by the way, for everybody that's still hanging out there. We're going to be heading over to the Discord for our weekly after chat. If you have ham radio questions, if you want to get your FLDigi up and running, or you want to just make a contact on FT8 with me and many of the other people that are on the Discord, go ahead and click the link in the description to join us over there. We have a lot of fun. It's always a nice couple of hours of interesting discussions on ham radio, trying to answer everybody's questions to the best of our ability. So, yeah, make sure you hop over there. But first, this entire topic of show was voted on by our producers over on the Patreon side. Thank you to the patrons, all of the patrons that help support me and the channel, what my wife and I are doing with our podcast. You guys really do make all this work out and make it convenient to actually make stuff happen. I had to buy a couple of applications. One of them was a plugin for Google Documents because normally I eyeball the dupes, but we had a couple of sneaky Pete's that were trying to send dupes in a couple of times a day, so they were spaced in entries, and I just got so tired of it. I paid like $30 to get a plugin to get rid of duplicates because I use Google Docs here at home. So anyway, hey, thanks patrons for that. I appreciate the support. But anyway, yes, the first weekend of the month is always Patron Picks. There is a whole bunch of topics of different videos that I have laid out for what the patrons can vote on. And at some point, we'll get to all of them. But if you want a hand in deciding what we vote on or what actually happens, I would consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And reminder, any more questions, comments, anything like that that we didn't get to in today's show, particularly if you've got stuff completely unrelated to the topic of the day, go join us over on the Discord. That's the fastest way to get your questions answered, and we do the best we can to answer everybody. So, all right, everybody, thank you. Hey, there's Ray. Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Icon, for the swag packs. We got plenty more to give away. We're gonna be doing something fun with them in the future here. But yeah, Ray, thanks for sending those on over. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you all real soon. Hopefully, you follow us over on the Discord. Until you see me again, have a great 4th. Stay safe. Stay sane. The best of your abilities. Don't push yourself, okay, guys? But definitely try and stay safe. And until I talk to you again, 73. All right, we'll see you over in the Discord.